Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today, I've avoided it for a fair while. It wasn't since last week when I did one, but today I've got yet again another words of encouragement. Just to kind of talk about a topic more so, really kind of a topical thing that I thought would be worth discussing today. Obviously we're in the last few videos of April now, and then by extension the first third of 2025. I only said 24 there, where this kind of channel's kind of started grease wheels and getting full swing. Yeah, we're getting very much to the end of that, and I plan to do an update video at the end of the month. But for now, let's just talk about this. So, my topic of the day, which I thought I'd shed some light on, is I've talked about shades of this before from various different angles, but particularly leadership is something that I've thought a fair bit about today, and more so in the angle of priorities. I think I've even talked about boundaries before when it comes to being a leader, but this is a different kind of angle entirely. What your priorities are as a leader, and I think that's something that's pretty important to consider really, when you look at the road that you want to head yourself down, and what you find most important and valuable when it comes to that road. I'm taking on an awful lot at the minute. I'm noticing that, and I'm trying to understand and realize where my loyalties lie when it comes to what I do with my time, because nothing's more valuable to me these days than time, even when I completely waste it on doing something that is non-productive, which is usually very rare actually, but a lot of things that are quite low priority, that I enjoy more, things I enjoy doing more. I've this Even when it's not particularly productive, um, that is usually time spent to kind of keep myself going, to be honest, because if all I ever did was the most productive stuff, I wouldn't function. So I need to at least do some low priority or completely stress free stuff from time to time. That said, I'm pushing myself very, very hard, and I've found that I've made some very hard calls that I think I want to discuss today to kind of shed some light on it as to what you have to do sometimes if you want to be, whether it's project management or whatever it is you typically do. If you're kind of a leading type, another kind of video to boost that. What I was saying before, what what you need to focus on. I've With people, it's I'm finding that I'm trying to I'm finding that I've got to be a lot more harsh than I have been in the past, to kind of get things done. And when I say that, I mean don't be a dick, obviously, because I mean I'd probably, if I'm being honest with myself, I think I've had a phase of that, in life, to be honest, and I kind of was that guy, but not anymore. I would say definitely not. I don't like to be that guy. And but again, me trying to avoid being that guy also means that I can't do my job properly. So every time you've got to have a bit of an iron fist and you've got to continue going on. And if people aren't working out for you, you've just got to move on. That's the bottom line. You've got to know who you can trust, and you've got to stick to the people you can trust, as well as expanding out and testing the waters with new individuals and new people. That is It's very important that you have a network around you, a team of people that you can rely upon when shit hits the fan, even if you're doing the most. Um, and that's something that I've found very, very valuable, having at least a couple of people who I know that I can completely independently depend upon. But yes, being kind of straightforward and blunt and no nonsense is something that I've found to be a big priority of mine behaviour wise, and moving forward regardless. Leads me on to my second point, which is efficiency. Efficiency is something that don't mistake this for like quantity over quality. I do want to make everything I do good, but I'm noticing particularly over the next 12 months plus of content, I am focusing very much on efficiency and hitting deadlines to a competent level, um, over creating masterpieces. That is very, very much where my head's at right now. I want to create content first and foremost and meet dates and have audience satisfaction for what this mode of platform is. It's YouTube. It's not the theatre. It is not. It's not avant-garde cinema. It's YouTube. So I'm very much tailoring the remainder of chapter two, as I've said in the update video, when I plan to kind of wrap that up, some point next year. Yeah, between now and then, my plan is very much to deliver on efficiency and competently made entertaining content. It's very much where my head's at right now, behind the scenes. So efficiency is another thing that I'm finding is a big sort of sticking point and priority for me. What my priorities are, and that sort of thing. So maybe you guys out there who have similar things like that, maybe it's a case of no matter what, we hit the deadlines, we hit the numbers, regardless of what it is that we put out, as long as it's okay. And that could be in any industry. But I'd be interested to know if you guys feel the same way about that, and that's kind of the way that you guys handle things, or whether you'd rather do only a very, very few things and work on them for a very, very long time to make sure that they're perfect before putting them out. I'm not particularly afraid to fail in that manner, which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I'm not afraid to fail. If we put something out that's competently made, but a bit of a dud, when you actually look back on it, that's fine. We can move on. We can learn from our mistakes and roll with the punches. My philosophy right now is if everything's on a factory conveyor belt, you've got a lot more often it's going around, and you've got a lot more opportunities coming thick and fast to improve on where you went wrong, rather than having it being like a campaign for like 2 years to make something, and then that's 2 years gone where you've failed a big lesson. Maybe it balances itself out. Maybe you commit your time to make a massive mistake and you learn from it in the next 2 years. But I just have that constant conveyor belt right now. That's kind of the way I'm doing things. To throw in one more angle at the pile, which I think is probably worth talking about with this, it's I would say that time is, as I've said, time is very important, and how that's managed and spent, and if I loop this back around, I'd say that's a third very important thing, which I said at the start, but I'll make it its own point, that you need to know where you're putting your time, and if it's nonsense, just make sure it's not too much nonsense. But there has to be nonsense there. There's got to be, because if there is no nonsense, there's no life. There's no nonsense. You've got no life. You need to have a bit of nothing in there to allow for something else to coexist at the same time. You have to. There's no ifs or buts about it. And a lot of people do an awful lot of nothing, and I try every day not to. But I do need that, and that's something that I need to admit. I do need nothing from time to time. And I hope that's some help to the right person who needs to hear it, because I sure as hell do. I should listen to my own words. Right, okay, I thought I'd shed some light on that today, but I hope that helps anyone if it does, really. But I hope a couple of other people feel seen by that, really. Let me know how you kind of manage projects, any leaders out there down below, and how you kind of manage those types of things. But that's those are kind of methods that I'm finding that I like to prioritize. So yeah, that'll do it for today and for this week. So until the run into the end of the month over the next 3 days, I'll see you next time on this channel. Be kind, do your best, and always remember, you are enough.